Castlewood is roughly 1,802 acres and stretches for nearly 5 miles, straddling the Merrimack River on both sides. Castlewood is located on 1401 Creefer Creek Road in Baldwin, Missouri. It's about 8 minutes away from the school. In the early 20th century, clubs and vacation homes were developed along the Merrimack River. The Missouri Pacific Railroad brought hot city dwellers to cool down in the river, and Castlewood Village kept them entertained with hotels, clubs, bathhouses, and more. Between 1915 and 1940, thousands of St. Louis residents traveled by train each weekend to the Castlewood area for water fun. They traveled through the Castlewood Rail Station, which can be seen in the picture above. Much of the development occurred over the limestone bluffs north of the Merrimack and railroad tracks. The seclusion of the bluffs attracted visitors, and during Prohibition there was a robust drinking and gambling culture away from the eyes of the authorities. For those who could afford it, Castlewood was a great refreshing escape from the busy and crowded city life. However, the area's glory did not last forever. In the early 1950s, the clubs and hotels began to shut down. As the cost of cars and air conditioning decreased, fewer people took the train to Castlewood to escape the city's heat. Family homes replaced vacation culture, but the area remained relatively secluded. In the 1970s, the expanding St. Louis suburbs began to encroach upon the Kiefer Creek watershed. Unlike its neighbors, however, Kiefer Creek watershed retained its natural landscape and avoided extensive development. In order to assure that this beautiful area was not destroyed by the rapidly encroaching suburbs, the Open Space Council of St. Louis helped the state acquire some of the land in 1974, and they created the area today known as Castlewood State Park. So to get to Castlewood from the school, you're going to want to obviously pull out of the parking lot, and you're going to want to make a thorough check to make sure no cars are coming, and then once you're sure the road is clear, make a right on Hannah Road. And from Hannah, you're going to continue down until you're able to make a right onto Big Bend Road. You're going to continue down Big Bend and make a left on Reese Road. And then make a left on Kiefer Creek, and that brings you right into Castlewood State Park. At the heart of the park, the last mile of Kiefer Creek meanders towards the Merrimack River. The river itself swings south, east, north, and then east again throughout the park, with broad floodplains averaging more than half a mile wide. On the south side of the river, nature lovers can find a small island of native bottomland forests, a rapidly vanishing nature feature. By contrast, on the north side, a more typical upland forest of white oak, northern red oak, and shagbark hickory dominates the landscape. Wildlife includes cricket frogs, wild turkey, white-tailed deer, and river birds. One of the most popular and widely known trails is the 3-mile River Scene Trail, which takes hikers or bikers up to the bluffs, down hundreds of wooden stairs, and out through a meadow bordering the Merrimack River. So I'm sure many of you recognize this scene. This is at the top of the River Scene Trail. It overlooks the Merrimack River and the bluffs. It's a very popular site for Instagram pictures. One of Castlewood's perks are its ever-changing terrain. Like we saw earlier, the cliff scene, and now, just literally yards away, flat grasslands. The meadows and the bluffs are actually on the same hike, so it just goes to show you how diverse Castlewood really is. Another popular attraction in Castlewood is the Merrimack River. Of course, right now it's icy and cold, and if you swim in it, you'd probably get hypothermia and die, but during summer, just like it was in the 1920s, the river is popular for families and couples and single people, if you want to go. Really for anyone who's looking for an escape from the crazy St. Louis heat. Merrimack does have sudden, strong undercurrents, however, so you want to be careful about that. And people have actually died in the river, so that's kind of creepy, but we'll get more on that later. All in all, Castlewood is a great and beautiful park, and they have something for everyone. Whether you want to swim, run, walk, bike, hike, or even ride horses, there's trails and space for everything. And the best part, it's right here in town, so if you haven't been before, you should definitely go and check it out. I'm here with Dan today, someone in my neighborhood who's a regular Castlewood user, and he agreed to answer some questions for me about the park. So Dan, how long have you been using Castlewood State Park?
Well, since my wife and I moved back to St. Louis from Vermont, we've been here about 10 years, and I use it whenever I can.
All right, what do you like most about the park?
Well, what I like most about the park is the different terrains. There's technical trails for mountain biking. There's great running and walking paths. The scenic bluffs. It offers a wide variety of terrain.
All right, cool. And do you think that Castlewood is generally overall a very safe and family-friendly, user-friendly area?
Oh, yes. It's patrolled, no alcohol. It's a very safe place for young kids, older kids. There's a beach to go swimming in. Yes, I think it's ideal for families.
All right, thank you so much for your time. According to moststateparks.com, Castlewood saw 527,800 visitors in 2011 and 665,100 visitors in 2012. The Missouri State Park System, which attracts more than 18 million visitors annually to its state parks and historic sites, has a positive economic impact on the state and local communities. Results of an economic impact study released in 2012 estimate that the total annual expenditures of state park visitors in 2011 were approximately $778 million. For every dollar spent by Missouri state parks to operate the park system, Missouri's economy saw a $26 return on investment. These impacts show that Missouri state parks enhance our state's economy as well as improve visitors' health and well-being. Like I stated earlier, Merrimack River is not the safest. 8 people have died in the river by drowning in the past 5 years. Metro West Fire Chief Vince Loyal says the Merrimack is particularly dangerous throughout Castlewood because it has uneven bottom and deceiving currents and naturally attracts inexperienced swimmers. In the entire span of the Merrimack River, there have been 20 drowning deaths so far this year, and it's only December. The undertows and drop-offs on the floor make it very dangerous to swim in. There are caution signs throughout the river, like the one seen above, warning swimmers of the dangers. Castlewood is a beautiful park, and we're so lucky to have it in such easy access. You should definitely be taking advantage of this wonderful nature escape.